Well, hello there and welcome to Travels with Geordie. If this is your first visit, my name is Peter Knowles and I live on this classic wooden motor cruiser here in Victoria, British Columbia, along with the loving memory of my pup Geordie, all the while fixing it up for some pretty ambitious cruising. If that's the sort of thing that you might find interesting, please consider sticking around and subscribing. I'd love to have you. This week I'm going to have a little fun, as if you've been following along, you'll know that I'm about to start some pretty major work on MV Poem, my other little boat. And before I get too far into it, I figured I better get a design underway, even though I pretty much had it all in my head. What I've done over the last week and a half or so is, as I did with MV Geordie, fully render at least the wheelhouse part of MV Poem and figured out how everything is going to interrelate, and I thought I might share it with you. It's still a work in progress, but I'm really excited about it. Let's have a look.
So here we are aboard the virtual MV Poem. The first thing you'll notice is that it's a very deep wheelhouse. In other words, the windows are quite high up. And well, that is the case, especially having dropped the sole 3 inches. You'll also notice I have restored the bulkhead and I've moved the bulkhead forward companionway doors to the center. But as there's nothing actually in there, let's just close the doors and carry on with the tour. Alright, swinging aft, we see the 2 side doors as well as the bulkhead to the aft cabin, as well as the abyss of darkness that is the aft cabin because I haven't modeled it. What you're also not seeing is the engine. Well, yes, it's here. It's just I'm not going to dwell on it just now because it's rather large and it's kind of in the way of what I have planned. So we're just going to tuck it away again for now, and we'll come to that in a little bit. This bulkhead is actually quite interesting in that it's stepped. If you'll notice, the portion of the bulkhead above the aft cabin is set back about 12-14 inches. And that's really clever because that does 2 things. It gives you a little storage up above the aft cabin, and it also means that you don't need an extra cutaway for the steps for the companionway because you get that headroom clearance right away. If you've been following along, you'll know that MV Zephyrus has this same arrangement. MV Geordie, however, does not. The side doors on Poem actually swing rather than slide, so let's open up these beautiful doors and let some of that lovely desolation sound sea air in. Okay, let's start with some space planning and locate the various areas we have available. Looking at the sole, we'll overlay firstly the circulation, which is the most critical. This is the area you have to be able to walk to access everything you need to operate and use the boat. In this case, you enter from the aft cabin and the helm will be right in front of you. And then there's a cross section there so that you have access to both of the windows, and then you need to be able to traverse forward to get to the forecastle. Now we can use some of the remaining space, so we'll begin with the galley against the bulkhead here in green, and this worked out really well, due in no small part from the storage afforded by the previously mentioned notch in the bulkhead. Moving on from that, we're going to fill the remaining 2 spaces here in red with seating, and this worked out really well as well because I wanted to bring the seating forward into the windows where there's lots of light and the ability to sit in those windows, and I want the boat to be quite a social boat, so well, you'll see what we're up to. Let's get started with some actual cabinetry, beginning with the main carcass for the galley. And we swooped low here to show this void, this space in the bottom left corner here. And I've left that open for whatever is going to be an engine in MV Poem. Well, here we can see that a little Beta Marine would sit in there quite tidily, or alternatively, a little electric motor would be so compact in this space that actually it would fit underneath the sole, and this space would be reused for some actual galley space. In any event, this space will have removable panels to facilitate maintenance for whatever propels Poem in the future. Alright, let's fill in the rest of this, starting with a drawer underneath the stove, and then a full stack of drawers to the left of that, followed by a door and drawers underneath the sink. a stainless steel cook stove, a stainless steel sink, a soapstone countertop, which has become my hallmark, some lovely green subway tile, a lovely little tap, and we're getting pretty close. Let's add some trim and some shelves and some upper cabinetry with glass cabinets, of course, for glassware. And well, yes, here comes the glassware. Okay, I'm just loving this, loving this, loving this. Okay, let's close the doors, getting a little chilly, and get going on some seating. Well, if you've been following along, you'll know that I love the aesthetic of mission style or arts and crafts style. So yes, this seating on Poem will be very much like on Geordie, kind of a Morris chair style, and two benches facing each other with that very clever flip and fold plinth, because again, as I mentioned, the seating is quite high. We'll add in a folding table on a clever fold-away arm. And did you think I forgot the helm? No, here it is, again very much like Geordie, with the flip-open access to the instrument panel. Okay, it's a bit untraditional, but I just love it. I wanted to be able to get the helm back and over towards the opening doors so I could handle docking and picking up moorings and stuff. That worked out really well. And that opened up this big space forward in all that window, so it just made perfect sense to have the seating there. It's like sitting up in a breakfast nook. In fact, two of the forward windows actually open, so it's just such an airy feeling. Well, it does create a little hybrid use of the space forward to the forecastle, but of course I'm not going to use the forecastle a lot on this boat, and let me show you how we can actually get up forward. But first, let's run this through some of its modular paces. On the starboard side, you can see the bench is switched from dine to recline. If you're new to the show, this is a system, very simple, I've developed for being able to use the same bench seats in dining seating as well as more of a couch sitting. And on the left, you saw the table folded up and swung over. So now we have on the port side sitting for dining, and on the starboard side, we can sit in a more living room space with no table directly in front of us. Carrying on, we flip and fold so that 2/3 of the plinth opens up so we can walk forward into either the forecastle, or we can use the table further swung away as a sort of a high desk. I really love this arrangement. I like to work at a tall desk like this, and I still have the reclined seating on the starboard side, full access to the forecastle, and I could use that extra table space perhaps while I'm cooking or something. Love it. And a little more fun flip and fold. We restore the plinth, fold the table to its smallest size and up against the bulkhead, lower the port side bench to living room seating, and you have a really nice living room arrangement with a little side table. And finally, remove the table, fold the benches flat, and make up the bed as a beautiful double bed for overnight guests. And, well, there you have it. I think it's a pretty interesting arrangement for such a tiny boat that's going to be used for short stays for wonderful folks like yourselves. If you have any ideas, suggestions, comments, I'd be very happy to read them. Please put them below. And I have fully designed both the forecastle and the aft cabin, so I'll get those into a full 3D visualization for you in the very near future. Thanks, and I hope you enjoyed it.
Well, hello there and welcome to the Travels with Geordie Beer of the Week, coming to you this evening from the very cozy wheelhouse of MV Geordie in the beautifully lit up harbour of Victoria, British Columbia. Straight to the beer. A very fine gentleman came and visited me here at the marina. He'd actually come by boat from Washington, and he brought me a bottle from Bellingham, Washington, from Boundary Bay Brewery, a Scotch ale. And I apologize, good sir, but I have forgotten your name. But it was very nice to meet you, and very kind of you for you to bring me this beer. Well, you know, I considered, when I look at this glass, those of you who've been watching a while, where am I going with this? Might remember that last time I did a virtual model of a boat, it was Geordie at that time, I did the Beer of the Week with a green screen. And it was kind of funny because the green screen let the video through the beer being close enough to green. This one wouldn't be because it's quite a bit darker. Anyway, a small little anecdote that I just happened to remember. Cheers! Boundary Bay's Scotch Ale. Oh, so nice and buttery and warm, and oh, that is a great beer. Really great beer. Okay, fabulous. Straight on to the paperwork. Last week's winner of a Travels with Geordie t-shirt is Warwick Yacent. Warwick, get a hold of me and we'll make sure you get your Travels with Geordie t-shirt. Cheers. Oh my gosh. No new supporters, but a lovely gift has arrived from the Amazon wish list. Let me just arrange things here because not one, not two, but four of these beautiful little marine overhead dome lights came from Robert Payne. Thank you ever so much, Robert. And these are the really nice ones. They have a two-way switch and they go on either warm white or red, which is good for avoiding night vision issues. So these are going to go up over the helm and where that night vision could be a problem. Let me just put these down. Anyway, thank you again, Robert. That is very, very kind. All right, well, time to jump straight into the word of the week. And the word of the week this week, well, did you see it coming? Will be virtual. Yes, virtual. You know what to do with it. See you next week. Cheers.